and Grind, Danielle Laurie, Alex Gomez from the Playing Field Parenthood. We're on episode 29, season 2. All right. Who knew we would get here?
Who knew?
I mean, I did, but I didn't a couple of years ago. So the fall is always such a nice time to connect because I feel like we just don't feel nearly as busy in the spring of the go. And then the summer just felt ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and we're almost at our 1 year anniversary.
I know.
That's
And you
why.
know what? It's funny, like I said, I've always wanted to like do something like this, whether or not, you see all these podcasts, but I just think putting content out there for people to be like, oh shit, I can relate. And I remember putting that out, what, a year and a half ago or something of just like people that I don't know how you sit into my DMs. We DM'd before,
Mhm.
but it was like connecting over this. And I was like, dude, it would be so dope to like have a partner that has lived through kind of the same grind that I have with the sports stuff. And then not to mention like, I remember your Hawaiian team and all the grind. So it just made it, of course, I want to like your team was like close to having the home run record of all time.
Yeah.
Like
Held
all
it for
those.
a while. We held it for a while, and then, OU.
I know.
They always got to come in and take it away. It's okay.
I
They
know.
deserve it. I love Jocelyn. She's so cool. That's somebody definitely. We got to get her on here.
I know. She would too. She's a baller. And I think her bat's launching soon. She has a new bat. So I'll actually send her a text today and ask if she'd
I
be
can meet up
interested.
with her. Like we went and had coffee, and she
Oh
lives
yeah,
close. Yeah.
that's right.
We're gonna make it happen, guys.
But
Um,
she has a really cute bat coming out. Like she was showing me pictures. I think it's like
really.
maybe I shouldn't say because I don't know, but I know it's like
It's
super
okay.
bright,
It's a
super
secret.
fun. I don't want to give it away. But I was talking to her in Oklahoma City about it when she was there for the World Series, and we were at a Holly Rowe event, and then
Yeah.
it was she was there with the Oklahoma Spark for softball. They had a lot of the players there. But yeah,
Yeah.
Joss is a good one,
Yeah.
as you know.
I know she's getting married soon. It's exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but the topic for today specifically, so Dee put out like a question box so that you guys could kind of submit some things that you guys wanted us to talk about, kind of off of last week, but kind of a little bit different. So we've kind of put it all together and come up with this idea of kind of differentiating between what like limitations there are that you face as like an athlete and how we've kind of broken them down between like mental versus physical versus like emotional and how you can kind of like navigate your way through that or help your athlete navigate through that because there's a big difference between these things. And I think as they grow up, it's super important to differentiate between them because there are certain things that are in your control and certain things out of your control. And not all of them can be prevented, even with practice and repetition and muscle memory and all these things. There are still things that can't be avoided.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
these ones too, like so many people gave such detailed type questions and I'm like,
mhm.
dang, like the things that I wish that I would have known or my parents maybe would have known kind of in that like younger youth sports phase where you feel like you're like a chicken with your head cut off.
Yeah,
Like before we dive into it, like this weekend for us was, which I know you have 4 kids, but it still felt busy for us. It was like 2 softball games for Audrey Friday night. We had 4 softball games and a soccer game on Saturday. Audrey had 2 games Sunday morning, and then Maddie had 2 games for softball Sunday. And I literally, Andrew and I were driving, and I'm like, dude, we have not been at home the whole weekend.
yeah,
And I feel like that is my biggest struggle is like, the weeks when you're kind of going and trying to get them to all the practices and then you finally have games. I said to Andrew, like, I definitely start to notice when I get like short tempered or like rattled about stuff
yeah,
easily because I just feel like you're giving and giving and going and here and snacks and like make sure you're good. And then Andrew and I are helping coach Maddie's team. So we're in the dugout and Audrey's kind of like on her own. And my parents were there, but she's like, coming in, can I have money? Can I have this? And I just feel like I get spread thin a lot quicker when like we're 3 days in a row where it feels like you're not regrouping at home or filling your battery up. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I know on the weekends it almost feels impossible for me to work out. That's why I do so many
Mhm.
throughout the week because I don't want to feel guilty about like not getting that time. Like I'm not a get up at 5 a.m. or a get up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm scarred from college. I don't know about you. So I never choose to do that unless I have to. Um, but yeah, this weekend definitely made me like mentally last night. I was like sitting watching Monday Night Football. Maddie had basketball tryouts, and that was all that we had. And I was like, oh,
You
this
needed
feels
it. Yeah.
nice. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the loading and unloading of the car.
Oh, all the things.
It
Yes.
really like it's the bane of my existence. And like we're lucky because both football teams and cheer, so like three of our teams are all at the same park on Saturdays. So
Mm.
like it's at least one location that we're kind of just like roaming around back and forth from different fields. But like I think we started 8 a.m. Saturday and all the way through our last game was at 3:20.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
5:30. So
Yeah. To work.
it's like a full work day
Mm.
and it's Texas and hot. And so like I think I sweat through and then dried. Like that's how long I was outside. Is like I
Yeah.
sweat through it and then it dried completely and then I sweat through it again, probably
Yeah.
4 times on Saturday.
Oh,
So then
yeah.
at the end of the day, you just feel like you're not just tired, like you feel gross. And then
Yeah.
you're just like it's the in and the out. Like I get so many bruises on my legs because
Mm.
I'm constantly like lifting stuff in and out. Like there's chairs, there's wagons, there's tents, there's it's just all the things. And I texted my girlfriend. I was like, the shower on Saturday night, I don't know that it's ever felt so good. I had my ranch water in the shower with me and
Oh, what a treat. Good for you.
it was perfect. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm getting out. I think I'll just stay here. But I
Well,
get it. It's like that, like you have to like unwind from being
totally.
on all day.
And I took your advice. I don't know. I think you told me 2 weeks ago about like the kids' sports stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like 4 bins sitting on top of the washer where it's like, because we're not into basketball yet, but we'll add a bin. But it's like all of their stuff that they need at this time. So, like, if I need you to go get ready for practice, you can't say, like, I don't know where my practice top is
Yeah.
for my new softball team. Like, it's up there. That has been life changing for us. I literally went to like a Hobby Lobby and picked up like 4 little bins. They just
Yep.
sit up. They're labeled for the kids. I do their laundry and I put it there, and then we have no issues. And that has changed the transition of when they get back from school, where they just know, boom,
Yep.
boom, we're done. I don't feel like I have to do nearly as much with going through their drawers. So thank you again for that.
Of course. And you never know. They lose things everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, where's your socks? Where and it just completely just alleviates it. And you're
Hmm.
teaching them too, right? Like to stay organized in a way, like have all your stuff in one place. So
Yeah.
eventually they'll be able to do it on their own. But for now, it's like we need to keep our sanity about it. So whatever it takes.
Totally. Totally. All
But
right.
let's start with like the mental errors and mistakes and how because I think that's something that you really preach a lot and it's been
Yeah.
something that's been so monumental like as you're developing your extra content for pitchers specifically but just as young athletes and how maybe they can identify mental errors and then realize what's like a roadblock, what's not actually a roadblock, what's more of like something to overcome, and then how you kind of would recommend identifying and moving through it.
Yeah. I think when I really think about like mental errors, there's sometimes too, you have to think like the games that you're in at times when you're in those close games, right? And it's like we're in it, we're locked in, we're feeling it. I feel like at times you're locked in. What I say to Maddie is the games and Audrey, sometimes where it's like maybe you're playing an opponent that is not as good as you, the score is different. Like you have a feeling in your gut, I'm probably going to win this game. We're up 8. At times, those are the ones where you need to be the biggest leader and not downplay your game because the other team isn't up to the same level as you. And I mean no disrespect by that, but at times that's what used to happen when we would play teams. I'd be like, man, we're killing this team. Like, I just don't feel like I'm as locked in or as respecting the game in the moment as much when the opponent is not as good as us. So that's one. It's like making sure no matter what, when you cross the lines, we're always respectful of our opponents, no matter what the score is. But
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a game of karma too. You don't want to downplay your performance unless we're told by a coach. Like, obviously, we're not scoring more runs, whatever the case may
Right.
be
If
with
they're
who you're
putting the
playing.
brakes on. Yeah.
Um, but always stay true to what the game is, right? It's like, hey, you're in the outfield, there's a runner on second base, the ball comes to you. Like I said this to Maddie's little team last week. It's like we always need to know what the next play is going to be. And if we're locked in enough where there is like that mental check-in in the moment, there's a runner on second, I'm playing right field. Does she have speed? Does she not have speed? How many outs? We got 2 outs. If I catch the ball, we're good. If the ball rolls to me, I'm most likely, depending on what the score is, maybe that run doesn't matter. I'm going to go here. If my coach wants me to get that out at home, this is the plan of attack. I do feel like younger kids aren't as locked in with that piece. The softball IQ sometimes is lacking to know when the ball comes to me, what do I do?
Yeah.
Instead of sometimes that sense of like, I'm not going to say a panic because not everyone's like that, but there are definitely times when people get the ball and they're like, oh shit, what do I do?
Yeah. You
Like,
just
what
like
is you?
like that freeze. Yeah.
Yes. What is your mental check-in every single pitch? It is required every pitch to know what I do, and every position is uniquely different, right?
Hmm.
Pitcher, catcher, man, there is just a different attention to detail on what I want in my gut as a pitcher, what I'm going to go to. We should know as pitchers, even though everything's being called for us by other people, what
Right.
we kind of feel in the moment. Um, am I locked in on the hitter swing? All the things. The shortstop, what's her job? She gets the ball. Where is she going? There's a runner on third. We got 2 out. All like, I don't know. So I think that that's always a really big thing. I think performance and where you're at, because we're only as good as our last at bat, our last opportunity, our last play, right? Like as much as you and I are retired, so we can ride every wave we want to ride. Hey,
Right.
national champion over here. I'm going to ride it. But if I was still currently playing the game, you're only as good as the last thing that you did. So I think at times a lot of athletes, if they're not performing to maybe the standard that they're at, can get rattled easily because that is something that can affect them, right? Like, man, I'm 0 for 3 in this game, or 0 for, 0 for 6 on the weekend so far, and this is the last game of the weekend. Like, what are you feeling in that moment? Am I so caught up in, am I going to lose my starting spot? Am I doing something wrong? What do I need to change mechanically? What is my parents going to think? What is the coach? The coach is on me nonstop. So the more we start to think of all those other things in those moments when the ball comes to us and it's just this smooth, easy play, I think sometimes we can overthink it and then shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And that's the like mental fatigue of maybe not being at the best or being at your best in that moment. I do believe when you are rolling, as you know, when the ball seems like a beach ball, when you're cruising in the circle, you feel money. You feel good. You feel like those outside factors don't necessarily affect you mentally. Like you feel sharp. It's when you're struggling in different, aspects of the game and then they carry over into individual moments and you're thinking about that and not this present moment. And then that's when stuff kind of does happen. Guilty, totally done that.
Yeah.
Be thinking of, you know, a home run I gave up to this last hitter, and then I'm pissed off at myself, and then I'm taking that into that next pitch against this hitter. And I say this to pitchers all the time, like how present you are the next pitch, and how quickly you're able to forget the one you just threw and move forward and be present with that next one puts you in the best position to go execute what you need to do. Because we always feel like sometimes in this power position, pitching, catching, power positions, that everyone's always looking at us. We have to be
Yeah.
perfect. We're not going to be perfect.
Right.
But the attention to mentally, where am I at? Checking in with myself. What are we saying to ourselves in those like moments? I think are always just key things to see where we're at. And the more you start it younger, because we didn't, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I didn't really start learning the attention to that stuff till I was probably like 17,
Yeah. Closer to the end of high
18.
school for sure.
And you need it so much more now because there is just such a different element of pressure in the game.
Right.
So the more we can just be aware of kind of writing some stuff down post game, having maybe a couple goals for the game, pre-game, like these are really big things that I want to focus on. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing ever. It could be like, I really need to have good quality at bats.
Yeah.
I have to know the pitcher. I got to know what she's kind of honing in on. And I'm going to step in the box and have a legit quality AB. Like you'd be surprised how many college teams. I know South Carolina, when I called their super regional and they talked a lot about like really good quality at bats. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get out base, but in that moment, how are you like feeding the team? How are you giving them information? How are you, if there's a runner on first base and you just had like a 10 pitch AB, but you got out, that's okay. You took 10 pitches away from the pitcher and you put that hitter coming up in the next position to be like, okay, good. We got 10 pitches on her. Let's
Mhm.
go. She felt that. She felt our presence. So those are just kind of like things that I like to think about too. I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
funny that it's funny that you say that because, back in the day when we played, you didn't start as a freshman, right? Like that wasn't really normal necessarily
Yeah.
for people outside of pitching. Pitching is kind of its own beast of
Yeah.
you might come in and start. But as like a freshman, you're to be seen, not heard. You probably don't get a lot of playing time. And that was the case for me. I didn't play a lot my freshman year. I was a pinch runner mostly. Um, and so mentally, I was like, it's hard to go from being the best at what you do in your small circle of high school or travel ball and club and like knowing how to succeed and be successful and then getting into this position where everybody's the best.
Yeah.
And so you have to sort of reclaim and re-earn that spot. I do think it's valuable because it forced me into a mental side of my game that wasn't there before that. And I
Yeah.
think, I used to have a little book and I didn't start, but I would sit there and work my ass off trying to pick signs from the pitcher on the other
Mm.
team. Like
Yeah.
I'd sit there and like it was whatever I could do to contribute to the team, like I was going to do it. So
Yeah.
I was trying to pick signs. I was sitting there and writing 3 actionable, measurable goals that I could achieve every single day, whether it was practice or a game. I wrote them down and I kept track. So it was like that mental piece for me, my freshman year, is what made me successful my sophomore year and beyond because
Yeah.
it wasn't the physical stuff that was the issue. It was I didn't have the strength mentally to be a non starter. And it
Yeah.
forced me into that. And it really, I had to reevaluate a lot of things. Um, and that difference between, like you said, a quality at bat doesn't mean you get on, but it's also a mistake or an error isn't always your fault, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you're doing everything you can mentally before the pitch, like you said. Okay, if it goes this way, this is where I'm going. If it goes this way, this is where I'm going. If I have to dive after this ball, what am I going to do afterwards? It's playing that chess game in your head of if this moves here, what are the next 3 moves after that?
Totally.
And if you are not making those mental errors, the physical errors are a lot less likely to happen because
Yeah.
physical errors are usually a result of not being prepared mentally for that muscle memory to kick in. So, all that to say, being able to, with your athlete or as an athlete, to evaluate okay, was this a mental error? Was it a physical error? Did
Yeah.
a rock, did the ball hit a rock and it jumped up and hit you in the face? Like, you can't control that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can practice how you respond to it and you can practice like we would specifically do like what do you call them, like errors, like mess ups, like
Yeah.
when I was coaching at UC Davis, coach Aaron would hit them balls and she would have them purposely bobble it so then they could come up and still make the play and they knew what that felt like.
Yeah.
They knew what it felt like to bobble it and still make the play. They knew what it felt like to drop a fly ball and still go to the next play. And because they had practiced it, there were a lot less issues in a game of that frozen, oh crap, I just made an error.
Really. That's a really good point because I think it's always the next couple plays after something comes at you that you think about, like the softball IQ at a high level to make a fast, quick decision to know what the base runner is doing and be able to hear your teammates in the moment, and that's it, right? Like, or
Mm-hmm.
a coach or someone that's kind of saying something. But at times over the course of the last couple of years that I've seen, especially with like Maddie's team, my daughter included, that's always kind of the Achilles heel, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first mess up play. It is the play after that. And then when that happens, it's like not being aware that the runner on first base saw that you messed up. They went to second. And then this
Chaos.
happened. And then you make
Yeah.
a bad throw. And then the next thing. So it's like being able to be aware in those moments and how like smart you can be to assume what's going to happen and be one step ahead. Like there was a play, she was with Mill Creek Little League. And they were at the World Series, Lily Delgado. She made like a badass play in the World Series where she like went up to go field the bunt. And I know this is like typical, but like you usually see it at the college level. She went to kind of go get this bunt and knew there's a good chance that runner's gonna be first, does a hell of a pump fake. Runner goes home and she's able to go and get the runner out, push her in a direction, and they get her. And I remember in that moment being like, this is the softball IQ stuff
Yep.
that you want to be able, like if you're a shortstop and you get a ball kind of deep in the hole, there's a runner on second base, and like you're deep in the hole, maybe faking a throw and then being able to go to the base. Like, what's the next play in your gut if you don't have the first play?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's so many games and information out there that people can watch. Like, not saying that every
LSU, yeah, no, and I have to mention this because the baseball World Series, college level last year,
yeah,
LSU against crap, who was it? The ones that have the curse that can't get past it. Is it Nebraska? I don't think it was Nebraska. I'll have to look it up. They have two Hawaiians on the team from Hilo. They were an amazing team. And it's like bottom of the seventh, basically. And there's a runner at first and second. Okay. Ball is, and LSU's up to bat. One out. Ball is hit to the shortstop. Shortstop went to third and got one out. So then there
okay.
were two outs with runners at first and second. Instead of in baseball, you always turn the double play.
Yeah.
You always turn the double play. He did not do that. And the next hit was a base hit to the left field, and the left fielder tripped and fell. And LSU came around and scored and won the game.
I remember that.
I can't remember who their
I remember that because that guy was crying in the
he was
dugout.
so upset. And left fielder, I felt so, like I could just feel the pain because it wasn't a mental error. It was a physical error. He literally slipped in the grass,
Yeah.
and you can't account for that. You can't always recover from stuff like that. But had the mental error not been made prior to that by the shortstop, going to
Hmm.
third instead of second and turning the double play, the inning would have been over. Yes, he still got the force out. Yes, he still got the lead runner. But in that moment, the
Yeah.
baseball IQ should have been turning two. So sorry,
Yeah.
I had to bring that up because we never got to talk about it, and it was so heartbreaking to watch that left fielder because then everybody thought it was the left fielder's fault they lost the game, and I was like, no, it was before that.
Totally. I cannot remember what team that was.
We'll
I'm
look
gonna
it
look
up
it
and
up
figure
after
it
this
out.
too because I remember kind of following. I don't follow the baseball World Series nearly as much as when I'm there in
Yeah.
person
Mm-hmm.
with softball, but I mean that was definitely kind of one of those plays.
It stood out for sure. Yeah. Um, let's talk about while I look that up, the motivation versus discipline thing.
Yeah. Yes. I think too, generations are very different. The
Mhm.
generation of our players are different than the ones that are now. Not to say one is way better than the other. I think there's a whole hell of a lot more distractions for a lot of athletes now than there ever was back because we didn't have the internet, right? We had AOL, I'd log on. You're
You heard the
the
little like, yep, exactly, the running man.
I mean, my screen name was Bobo Baby 13.
Okay.
So, I mean, what a treat that is. I still have that email. But that was like kind of our time. I mean, who are we chatting with online? We don't
Yeah.
even know.
ASL.
So, and now, like, I feel like it is a lot easier for individuals to think that they can get motivation and like be pumped up by seeing other people doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to like explain the difference. Like, anyone that you follow on social media, when you're looking at their stuff, they definitely should make you kind of feel like, oh, damn, that's awesome. Like, I love that. Like, they should make you feel a sense of like empowerment or feel really good about yourself. People that you follow on the internet should make you question your worth, how good of a player you are,
Mm-hmm.
how beautiful you are,
How good
what
of a
your
mom you
body can
are.
do for
Yep.
you
Yep.
as a mom,
Mm-hmm.
a body shame thing. I can't tell you the amount of times after I had kids and I'd see stuff on the internet or these moms and their bodies right after they had babies. And I'd be like, damn,
Yeah.
that's totally not me. And then I realized like, okay, I have to like be aware of the things that I'm looking at because there's definitely certain moments where you're a little bit more susceptible to like bashing yourself because you're seeing stuff. So I think really being able to hold yourself accountable to things you see on the internet that make you feel a certain way. And that's why I don't allow really my kids. They have Instagram pages. I think it's stupid that Audrey has one, but it's more to start to build sports stuff. You see that with college stuff all the time. Like everything is a little more driven towards Twitter and everything's a little bit more driven towards like videos of you within sports. So it's just having something for them, a handle that they'll be able to eventually go to. Um, but I think when you're looking at stuff on the internet and that is kind of the one thing that is like getting you up to go and do things, that's when you kind of know it's like a problem.
Yeah.
I think truly the difference between the good and the great isn't hard. It's just attention to detail and discipline to get your shit done and your routine and knowing that I have to do it. Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not, I need to go look at, and don't get me wrong, I am fully inspired by Sierra Romero and Skylar Wallace's shit. They post so much good stuff on
Yep.
social media. They work with the summer method. I talk about this every year with Athletes Unlimited. Like, I dig watching the women's, pro athletes, whoever it is, get after it in the gym because
Kicking
that
ass.
does
Yeah,
like
exactly.
make me look at it and be like, yeah, that's badass. Like, look at their bodies, look at like how physically strong they are, looking the way that they're moving. I love that stuff. But looking at their stuff doesn't make me choose to go do my workout and push myself a little bit harder. Seeing their stuff definitely makes me realize like there's badass chicks. That's
That's
awesome.
motivation. Right.
That's motivation. But I'm also an example and someone that can continue to keep choosing myself every single day and doing it because that's in my gut to do that. And at times that is very hard to teach the young athlete because they're tired. They go to school all day. They have multiple sports, giving them more grace with that stuff, but allowing them to truly understand that as your parent, like I'm going to help push you. And there's a difference between me realizing you need a break and me realizing that like on this day when you don't want to do it, we're doing it
Right.
because this is how you build your mental stamina to be a bougie bitch when you're out there.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to be out there and when the pressure is on and the lights are bright to F up in those moments because you know you haven't done enough.
Yep.
And I think I've said this on previous podcasts before, right? It's like when I think of some really big moments in my life through sport that I've been fortunate to be in, like the national championship, like there was definitely some, not as much in the first game because we killed them 8-0, but that second game, it was a 3-2 close ball game. And there was plenty of moments where I had to kind of give myself a reality check out there. Like, you deserve to be here. You have
Yep.
worked your ass off to be the
Yep.
one in this moment.
Yeah.
And it's almost this quick reminder of all the hard shit. For me, it was the heartbreak of the 2008 Olympics and the comeback story of like how hard I chose to put myself in the position to be better for everyone else because I wasn't good enough to help get this team where we wanted to go. And back in the day, you don't have a pitcher, it ain't gonna happen. So I knew there was a different responsibility that like I needed to do. And I did, but in those moments of pressure, when you finally get to those games that not everyone gets to go to, you remember those different things and times where maybe you haven't put in all the work. And if you're the one in the moment to kind of potentially win or lose a game, the competitive advantage in my eyes is the ones that have been the most consistent with doing the hard shit and continuing to do it and choose it. Because you have to be okay in those moments with the win or the loss.
Right.
And what makes the loss really, really hurt is knowing you lost and you didn't do enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Having to walk away and think there was another rep I could have done. There was another round of hitting. There was another pitch I could have practiced. If you walk away like that, like there is no peace for you in retirement.
Yeah.
Like there is no way, like that will haunt you forever.
Yeah.
Like I think you and I both, like we both walked away and we are good with like the way things ended. Like we know I can hang my cleats up proud of like how I walked off that field. I left everything on that field. So like moving through that as a young athlete, it's understanding motivation will come and go. Motivation is not permanent. It is something where I just talked about it last night. I was like, I was not motivated to go work out because we had nothing else on the calendar and I just wanted to chill. But the discipline in me that is there, ingrained in me from the beginning, that has to always be there, said, no, you need to get this done. Go out there and work out. And I did. So it's like the discipline has to be permanent. You have to have that innate ability to tell yourself, this needs to get done. I need to do it, and I need to do it to the best of my abilities so that when the time comes, when that moment happens, when those games are down to like the wire, I've
Yeah.
I've done everything I can for my team.
Especially like when you have two types of athletes. When you have the athlete that is the high caliber one that like right? Like you can tell, you can be around athletes and you're like, damn, they're going to go somewhere if they want to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The mentality of the discipline piece, knowing everyone wants to take what you're trying to get, like that was at times the thing that would motivate me is that like someone wants to take, and back for us, it was an athletic scholarship. It
Right.
wasn't signing $1 million, but like someone's trying to take that opportunity away from me that I wouldn't be able to play that game because of the financial burden that it would have had on my family with me being Canadian. There was all those factors. So for me, it was like someone's trying to take what I want.
Life or
And then on
death.
the flip
Yeah.
side, for the athlete that maybe is underlooked and isn't that high caliber athlete, like you can get where you want to go if you're focusing on the right things and you're willing to push and do the hard shit every day and respecting there's a day where you need a second. I'm not saying that, but both are beneficial in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a different pressure, I think, that comes with being that high caliber athlete, and that's okay. I think that's why they are who they are. But how are they working through all of that stuff? And then on the flip side, the ones that maybe are, not in the top 25 of these are the highest recruits, maybe they're number 70. What is going to get you over that hump? What is that
What are you
absolute,
bringing to the table that's going to
totally,
still set you apart?
that
And everybody
dog?
has it. Everybody has something. You
Yeah.
just have to figure out what it is, and you have to become the best at it, because that's what the coaches are going to see. That's what they're going to identify. Like that's the it factor, or that's the piece of my puzzle on my team that's missing.
Yeah. And it's being able to try to really get better in all the different aspects of the game because I think in order to be an elite level softball player, when you are putting in the time and all the other things, you're doing extra hitting, you're doing extra, groundwork and doing ground balls and flips and then for pitching and for outfield, like there's so many things that it can be easy to just go do it to do it.
Yep.
So it's like in your gut when you're going, especially when it comes to like I say this with pitching, it's like there how much can we replicate the adrenaline filled kind of moments in a game where we're amped up and we're throwing hard, right? Like we can't expect to be able to go into games when I haven't really pushed myself in practice and then it's just all going to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know damn well you throw 3 miles an hour harder at times when you face a hitter and they're actually in the box trying to take you deep than when you're throwing in a bullpen to a catcher and it's just easy breezy. You don't have any pressure.
Yep.
So how do we replicate that feeling in our gut and train and get better? And I also think the thing that is very different than what it was when you and I played was the attention to detail on like the strength and conditioning stuff and the
The
mobility. And
recovery.
now,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. It's so much different now.
so much different. And that it's almost expected that these kids do it at a really young age. And right now, I feel like my kids are fortunate enough to play multiple sports, which kind of helps their bodies moving in certain ways. We'll get to a point where like Maddie's gonna have to go and see someone if we can find the time. And
Yeah.
same with Audrey. But I do think, and me, I can't speak for everyone, but when I think about some of the hardest college moments, definitely was that strength and conditioning stuff and that like fitness
Out of your
testing.
comfort zone for sure.
Yeah, man, like the team building. You see the teammates that show up and then you see the ones that are weak-minded and they can't hang. You can't sit with us. Like
Yep.
easier said than done, but that shit was intimidating. Like when I first got to college, I'd always worked, but that was different because it was you want to show up for your teammates,
Couldn't
but it's
even
also
throw the
like
bar. It was so embarrassing.
what's expected of you is
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And then I can say the same thing for that 2020 run with Canada. Man, we went hard in the paint for the conditioning and the physical
The
strength
training.
and the
Yeah.
body and it's almost like I feel like I'm doing that to myself again with like the high rock stuff, but I've always loved that part about
Mm-hmm.
how sharp I think it makes you mentally.
Well, and the new heights that you reach, those new milestones that you're still able to attain. There's nothing like that at all. Like
yeah.
you can't get that feeling anywhere else other than overcoming something you didn't think or believe that you could do and then doing it.
Totally. Like yesterday, I did a workout with my girlfriend and we were on like maybe lap 5 or lap 6, and it was just my legs felt like lead. And and she's pretty far ahead of me, but I'm just trying to like trek through. And I'm like saying to myself, I'm like, bro, this shit is hard. My legs, like I'm struggling. And then I had to like remind myself, I'm like, I'm such a badass and I am doing this. Like I am doing it. I'm not going to stop. I may not be the best of the best at this very time, but I do think when you do hard shit and you feel the aftermath and how hard that is, like I said to my girlfriend in the workout we did yesterday, I'm like, how hard that felt to us, nothing will feel as hard as kind of this if we were to do this again, right? Like if we did something similar to this workout, we know we've done it. It gives you kind of that advantage in the moment. And then you know you can continue to do hard stuff. And it is yesterday I kind of questioned why I was doing it. So that's great. That means that I'm doing it right
Yeah.
because that's when you know stuff is hard and then you're just continuing to like get better and better. I don't know. It's been a challenge. I'm definitely getting older. I can feel it in my body, but like I almost say my mind is like the one thing that I feel like I'm doing it for too, to like
Yeah.
keep me
Yeah. Keep
in
it
it.
sharp.
Gotta keep it sharp. Gotta show these kids what's up, man.
Yeah. We've been taking Penelope at least once a week to a sports med chiropractor.
Mm.
And I feel like it's been helping a lot just because it's keeping her at like her best. She is doing the multiple sports too. So she is getting like new muscles that she's moving, like cheers. She's never moved those muscles before.
Yeah,
So I think it's helping because she's not only getting the adjustment, which if you've never been to a chiropractor, like you
it's a
should go.
lot.
You should
Yeah.
go. It's life changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so she's getting those adjustments, but then they're also always there to like examine, like, hey, my quad's sore, my hamstring's really tight, like my ankles are sore. So they're like going above and beyond. They'll scrape her, they do the cupping, they do just like the massages with like biofreeze and stuff like that, or icy hot, whatever your flavor of the week is. And I think it's really helped her just become more aware of like what is good, what is not good, like when do I need to let them know something hurts. So I do think that it's important. And it doesn't have to be like this insane, like crazy expensive sports med. Like we're literally doing it as like chiropractor appointments. And it's enough that's like maintaining her and keeping her healthy because
Yeah,
that's the hardest part now.
for sure. Yeah, I think being able to keep these athletes like motivated to keep doing it, but like body
Mhm.
fatigue, the different things it's that stuff's tough too. Like really allowing them to be able to fill their bucket every now and again with things that they really love to do outside of sports.
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
it so? Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening in, guys. I think we touched on a lot of really important stuff today, and
Yeah.
talking about struggles mentally, physically, that type of thing. It was Arkansas, by the way, the team that lost
So
to LSU. And they've had like a curse. They've always made it to like the semifinals and never make it to the finals. So
I kind of feel like Arkansas softball's got to get by the curse too.
it seems
Every
like
time,
it's
I mean, Texas a couple years ago was unseeded and they made it to the World Series. They beat Washington and then they went to Arkansas and then they beat Arkansas in the Super Regional. Like, I always feel like Arkansas is close. They
they're
lost to who
always like
this year?
right there. Yeah.
They lost to freaking Ole Miss. And Ole Miss was really good. I'm not ever saying that they weren't, but I'm saying like Arkansas softball is like always knocking at the door. They
Mhm.
can't get over the hump. Why? Maybe this year.
Maybe this year.
Yeah, they don't have Brie Ellis, but the reigning
No.
National Player of the Year, but we'll see. All right, well, I'm gonna go make some spaghetti for my kids because we got softball practice. We're leaving right after school. I got to take both kids. I got to make sure that I have their dinner because I'm not gonna
See,
go
I
get.
don't on the nights where I don't, yeah. I did crock pot yesterday. I'll do dinner tomorrow because it's less chaotic. Tonight's it's insane.
I know it's a lot,
I
but
chalk it
anyway,
up to we will get whatever is closest in the drive-through and we'll figure it out.
yeah.
So
So, all right, everyone.
thanks for
Okay.
listening. We'll talk to you guys next week.